Hi, welcome back. I'm Aga, EFT practitioner, coach, nurse and educator. And I'm really happy to have you here, and I welcome you all to our introduction to tapping, introduction to EFT Christmas special, my gift to you. So today I'm going to show you how to do tapping, and it's going to be slightly longer than the other videos, but just bear with me because it's really important. So as I mentioned yesterday, tapping can be used to change distressing or negative feelings, clean up the emotional build-up, or change unwanted patterns in the way you think or act, and to install more positive emotional states, beliefs, or even goals. So really useful for the New Year's resolutions. So the basic steps of EFT. Firstly, we need to recognize what is that we want to change. This may be a feeling, a response to a trigger, a habit that we no longer need, pattern of thoughts or behavior that is just coming back regardless of what we do. Then we need to rate our distress or discomfort about this area in our life in a scale 0 to 10, and 10 being an extreme distress, 0 being no distress, I'm fine about it. This scale is called SATs, so subjective units of distress rating. And it's really important for you to remember this is a very subjective score, and it's your internal assessment of the feelings around the problem that you have. Okay, so it's a feeling and how much do I feel of them. The aim is to tap until you feel calmer about the issue, and usually number will go through to 0 or 1, but we know that sometimes when the very high SATs rating is set up at the beginning, we may stop at 4 or 5, and this is just because you have the shift, you achieved the shift within the session and it was high enough for you, so you could stop on 4 or 5. The next step is to capture the problem in a setup statement. This setup statement, you say why you're tapping on the first point of tapping, which is the hand, just right here. And I will encourage you to say it out loud, this statement. And the only reason being is that when saying it in your mind, although it's okay to do that as well, but you most likely going to drift away in your thoughts, and that is not very helpful. You need to stay present. So saying out loud will engage you more, will connect you fully with your statement. It will make sure that you are staying in the present moment. The next step will be to tap through all 8 points on our body. And I will show you the points now. So the number 1 is right here at the beginning of your eyebrow. We tap with 2 fingers. The second one is on the side of your eyebrow, just here. Following by under your eye, on the bone, under your nose, on your chin, right here on the indentation, on the collarbone, under your armpit, so just on the bra level for the ladies, and probably about a hand below your armpit for the men, and on the top of your head. Remember to keep breathing. So we tap on the 8 points while we're saying a short reminder phrase to keep your mind engaged, still engaged, really important. And this will usually be a word or a brief phrase or description that will describe your feelings in relation to the setup statement. The tapping on the all 8 points on your body, we call that tapping round. So this is the whole tapping round when we go through 8 points. We tap with 2 fingers, and I would say the tap is gentle but firm. So when you tap, you can feel a bit of a resonance when you tap on your bony bits. You can feel it, but not too hard. Okay. Then we take a deep breath after the tapping round, and always reassess your SAT score. And remember, this may be a very subjective, even sometimes intuitive guess of how I think I feel. But it's always good to use the first number that comes into your mind. Don't ponder too long, just go with your intuition, you will know exactly. And keep tapping through additional rounds, 8, the round is 8 points, until the SATS rating is very low, 0 or 1 is the best, but as I said before, 4 and 5, it depends how big is the score at the beginning. So a little bit more about the setup statement and reminder phrases. So setup statement, there are infinitive possibilities when creating the wording of the setup phrase. And or affirmation, we sometimes call this affirmation. And the general rule is to create the wording depending on the problem, and then pair that wording with the negative feeling or thought, and pair that negative one with a positive one while we're tapping on the karate chop, the first one. So the essential, there's 2 components, but essential components of the EFT setup is to accept that you have a problem. And the setup helps us to accept the truth, even if we don't like that truth. And by doing this, we are enabled to take a first step to resolving that problem. So Peter Stapleton, in her The Science of Tapping book, which I'm referring constantly in these videos, and if you're interested in tapping, this is definitely to go. We've got all the research, latest research, and everything that you need to know about it. She's saying that is saying in psychotherapy that you can't change a personal quality unless you first accept it. Totally agree with it. You just have to go through those steps. So a typical setup statement may be, even though I'm overwhelmed, first bit, I deeply and completely accept myself. And this pairing of the problem that we have with acceptance statement helps us build that self-compassion and self-acceptance, because we are focusing on our feeling, and the setup statement keeps us in the present moment. The feeling is negative, but we're still staying in that present moment. So it is possible to change the ending of the setup statement, but we need to remember about those 2 very important components. So the first one, state the actual problem, is really important. We need to state the problem. And then we need to express acceptance that this is how you currently feel right now. Sometimes we want to change the feelings of the situation that evokes these feelings, but we need to focus on how we feel at the moment. And examples of change ending of the statement could be, even though, put the problem, I accept I have this problem. So even though, put the issue, I'm still a good person. Even though, put the issue again, I'm taking charge right now. Even though, put the issue, I want to change this. Or even though, put the issue, I completely love and accept myself. That's one of my favorite ones. Or even though I have this issue, I deeply and completely forgive myself. Another one that I use a lot, really powerful. So, there are really powerful statements themselves. So adding tapping to it is creating a huge shift. Just to wrap it up for you guys again about this opening part of the setup statement is a description of your problem and how you feel about it. And then the second part is you giving yourself an affirmation or suggestion that you recognize and accept what it is. That's it. Very simple. So to focus on what is a really important, and that's the feature of mindfulness that we're bringing into EFT, and tapping on the acupoints help calm the brain, making it even easier to stay in the present moment. I'll talk about that in the future videos about how exactly EFT works on our brain. And I know that stating the negative and accepting the problem and your feelings about it may sometimes feel counterintuitive, and you may even wonder, why are we not just focus on the positive affirmation? This is something that we should be doing now. Well, let me tell you this, we know that self-help and therapeutic approaches that begin their approach by attacking the problem straight away tend to bring the inner resistance. I have experienced that so many times on myself before, and we just simply don't want that. Okay, so the reminder phrase that we're using, the shorter one that we use with tapping on the points only. So you say that when you tap on the 8 points, and it captures the main feeling or the negative state that you want to change. For example, if you are about to go on the plane and you feel really anxious about it, you do suffer with anxiety around flying, you will apply EFT in this way. So you will start from here and say, even though I'm feeling anxious about flying, I accept how I feel right now anyway. So your reminder phrases may be anxious, or nervous, or scared. And this is the feeling that you will initially rate with SATs, and rate this after each round of tapping. So you are scared of going on the plane and you feel anxious, 10 out of 10. So using scoring gives you instant feedback about what is happening as a result of tapping. It's really good to have that. And sometimes we find that SATs goes higher than at the beginning, but that's okay, as this just simply shows us that we tuned in quite deeply into the problem that at the beginning, and that's absolutely fine. Sometimes tapping does that, and if this happens, this will be your real SAT scores, and you start measuring from that point onwards. So ideally you should tap until the SAT score reduces to 0, that's the best. But you can readjust your statements as well if you notice your emotion change. So for example, you started from feeling angry about something, but during the tapping, now you're feeling sad or anxious. So sad or anxious will be your reminder phrase from that point onward, whatever comes to you. So I will show you how I would proceed with EFT session if I had myself, for example, or a client with a back pain. So first we recognize my back pain and what it is and how it is. So it's a dull pain in my lower back, and I will score probably about 8. And I will start from, even though I have this dull pain in my lower back and I feel really tired with it, I fully accept that I have this pain. Even though I have this dull pain in my lower back and I feel really tired, I accept that. Even though I have this dull pain in my lower back and I feel tired, I accept that I have this pain. Then I would start tapping throughout the 8 points and I say, this pain. Or I would say, I feel tired. This pain. So I could also use the words that will describe the pain, this dull pain, this moving pain, this hot pain. And I will repeat the round of tapping until I feel a shift or difference, and usually that will be indicated by low score of SATs, which I will be measuring after each round. Then the session will be completed. That's it. And yes, so I hope that was helpful to you, and tomorrow I will be talking about how EFT works, why is it important to be specific with our problems, what are the aspects in EFT, and why is it important for us to identify the earliest or most significant memory that we have. So please stay with me, tune in to the next one, and for the next couple of days I will be sharing more and more useful information about EFT. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye!